A Descent into the Dead. The date, February 6, 2014, was a cruel joke. We called ourselves the Elite Five, but by the end, that name would taste like salt and freezing regret. 5 souls, Kai, Patrick, Visa, and the 2 Yaris entered the Black Maw of Plura Cave, Norway. It was the deepest known cave in northern Europe. A vertical coffin 130 meters deep, and our planned 5-hour dive was a fool's errand from the start. Kai, our most seasoned diver, had the ghost of his last partner clinging to his dry suit. He stared through the triangular hole we cut in the ice, a hole that looked unnervingly like a shattered gravestone. The team split, Patrick and Yari H first, the rest of us 2 hours behind, waiting for the cave's silt to settle. We hoped for clarity. What we got was chaos. The first silence. Patrick and Yari H zipped through the initial 500 meters, reaching the midway air chamber where they rested, exchanging whispers of premature triumph. The cave had been easy. They couldn't have been more wrong. The descent led to a constriction so tight it felt like the rock itself was seizing up. Patrick, fully geared, had to exhale just to squeeze through. Then the frantic signal. Yari H's light sputtered, then died. His bailout cylinder was snagged on the jagged rock, trapping him in the throat of the cave. The panic that followed was a palpable, screaming thing that compressed the water around Patrick. Yari H flailed, his survival instinct betraying him, converting his fear into lethal bubbling gasps. Patrick swam back, moving the cylinder with the terrifying delicacy of handling an unexploded bomb. He freed his friend, but when he turned back to check, the silence of the deep was already upon them. Yari H's regulator was out. His lungs were full of Plura's cold, indifferent water. Patrick wanted to scream, to lash out at the black, suffocating rock. He couldn't. His dive computer flashed a new, terrifying sentence: 400 minutes. 400 minutes of decompression. A 5-hour dive was now 9 hours, and his friend was a corpse suspended inches away. He turned his back on the body and swam on, praying for the second entrance. The echo of panic. 2 hours later, we followed. The 3 of us, Vesa, Yari Usamaki, Yari Yu, and Kai. We dropped into the icy void. Then came the distress signal, a high-pitched whine carried through the water. Vesa, swimming toward the sound, was greeted by the nightmare Patrick had left behind. Yari H's body, ghastly and limp, blocked the narrow passage. Vesa froze. Turning back meant a 12-hour decompression with dwindling oxygen. Moving forward meant pushing past his dead friend. Behind him, Yari Yu arrived. The sight of the corpse was the final straw. He didn't just panic, he shattered. His erratic, explosive breaths became a frantic, useless cycle. Kai watched in horror as the deep claimed its second victim. Yari Yu died inches from the first, his panic turning his very air into a death sentence. Kai screamed through his mask at Vesa, urging him to retreat, but Vesa, possessed by a desperate will to live, was kicking, twisting, pushing himself against the dead weight of Yari H to pass. Kai made his decision. He turned. He began the slow, agonizing 12-hour return to the starting hole, convinced Vesa was doomed. But Vesa, by some hideous miracle, squeezed through. The reunion of ghosts. 3 men, swimming alone in the freezing dark, each convinced he was the sole survivor. Patrick was the first to emerge. 8.5 hours later, into the night air, a ghost breaking the surface. Vesa followed an hour after. On the other side, Kai clawed his way through the thin ice at 1:30 a.m. and collapsed into the van, waiting for a hope he didn't believe in. At 2:00 a.m., the crunch of footsteps in the snow. Patrick and Vesa appeared, pale and shivering. 3 survivors. They were alive, but they had left a piece of their sanity and 2 friends, to drift forever in the grip of the Plura cave, a place that did not kill them with a roar or a crash, but with a horrifying, endless cold indifference.